Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a live edition of No Doubter. We are coming at you to preview the AL West, the best conference, the conference that is near and dear to our hearts. It has our favorite teams on it. We've been bringing you division by division previews of all the teams in Major League Baseball. Today, we brought you the NL East with our friend Henry Betancourt. Tomorrow, we are going to publish a podcast episode of the NL West with Scott Jarvis, another friend of the pod. We have two more left, and we are doing one of them tonight. And tonight is one that is going to resonate with a lot of our audience. A lot of our audience is from the great state of Texas. And so you are going to want to join us. You're going to want to add your comments and your input, which we will include on the show. So an extra special episode tonight. Why have we not gone live before? Well, we don't have a good answer for that, but better late than never. That's the best we can got. A lot more live broadcasts coming your way.
We're slowly building this thing. So it's a very much, this is a side project for Barrett and I. So things just kind of build very slowly at this stage of time.
That's how it rolls. I am your co-host, Barrett Boombostic, coming at you from Tioga, Texas, a place that is hour north of Dallas, the birthplace of Gene Autry. And I am joined by my co-host, Travis Tebow Loftley, who is coming from what I can only suspect is a prison.
Not quite. It's nicer than that. But no, I am here in the beautiful state of Tennessee, in Franklin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, on vacation right now. Checked into this hotel earlier today and did not realize they would not have a proper desk and chair where I could have my standard podcasting setup. So I am currently sitting on my bed right now, leaning kind of up against the headboard here. I mean, this is actually a pretty nice hotel room. It's just very small. Wow. It's nice for being on a budget, vacationing on budget like I'm doing right now. But yeah, it's small, and so have to make do with what I've got here. So yeah, laptop in the lap, sitting here, microphone in hand. We're making it work.
Road set up for the win. Hey, we got to keep it going. We got to keep the pod coming. So there you go. So it's a vacation, I assume. You just taking a trip for leisure over in the great.
Yep, taking a trip for. Taking a trip for leisure. Stayed in Starkville, Mississippi last night. Visited the sound studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama earlier today. The home of where the legendary Swampers backing band that backed Aretha Franklin and a whole host of other artists got formed and got their start, and tons and tons of legendary records have come out of that place. So took a little tour there along the way, and then finished up the drive up here to Nashville, and spent a couple days here, then making my way back home.
There you go. Oh, that sounds like an awesome trip, man. Good for you. I mean, you're single and ready to mingle and just going at it.
Yeah, I'm living it up. I'm
there you go.
I'm not sure how much longer I'll keep doing some of this travel the way that I've done in recent years, but it's been fun while I've been doing it. So
hey, you're still in your 20s, so you can still live it up, do it while you can.
You got that right.
There you go. All right. Well, you're coming at it from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Nashville.
The great city of Nashville. What an incredible city. Tioga, Texas pales in comparison to Nashville, Tennessee, but that's where Travis Tebow Loftley's coming from. I'm coming from Tioga, Texas. It's not Tioga, it's Tioga, Texas. So thank you all for joining in. At any point in the podcast, you can comment wherever you're watching. We're on our YouTube channel. Look up No Doubter Podcast. We're on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes. First ever YouTube broadcast. That's a big one for us.
Technically, we do have a YouTube channel. This is the first ever video that is going on. At any point while you're watching, put your comment on. And when you do, it can show up just like this. And we can include it. We want your feedback in. So without further ado, let's just get into what the heck we're doing, which is we are previewing the AL West. And we're going to start off with the comedic relief. The comedic relief that is the Oakland Athletics. That's right. The team that is barn selling everything. That's right. Let's just go ahead and get into a draft. It's not going to be pretty, but we'll laugh our way through it.
Yeah, the Athletics decided they no longer wanted to half-heartedly ball on the budgets anymore, so they're just like, "Screw you guys, we're we're getting rid of all y'all. We're gonna try this again."
Man. Yep. Well, we'll see. So we're gonna do what we always do for all of our teams and start off with the rotation, right? It's the first people to have the ball, so they got to be good, right? Sean Mania is their ace. Not too shabby, actually. Last year he had a 3.91 ERA with a 1.227 WHIP. These aren't terrible numbers. It's a sub 4 ERA, so yeah, you would want him to be your ace. He had an 11-10 record. He's 29 years old, so I mean, pretty solid. 9.7 strikeouts for 9. It's good to have an ace like that. Moving on down to the number 2 guy, Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas, 3.37 ERA, a 1.182 WHIP, 10 strikeouts per 9. So far, he got a good 1-2 punch. And really, I mean, these guys did good last year. They were going toe-to-toe with the Astros for the AL West. And it's good that they have at least these 2 pitchers in because they lost Chris Bassett. And that was a huge blow to them because that guy was definitely their ace. But now they just kind of make aces out of these 2, which they both have sub 4 ERAs. So pretty good. They're in their late 20s. And now we kind of, it's a little bit of a drop off after that point.
A little.
Well, Cole Irvin. This guy is 27 years old, 4.24 ERA, 1.329 WHIP. Was a 10-15 record last year. So really, you're having these guys who are supposed to be in their prime. They're in their late 20s. And Cole Irvin had a 6.9 strikeouts per 9, 2.1 walks per 9. We've seen worse, but we just don't know how good they're going to do. And we'll get to the part where they especially farm sale later. Next, we got Dalton Jeffries. Oh, Dalton. This is a recent acquisition that they got. According to Fangraphs, he had a 4.39 ERA and 70.3 left on base percentage. So far, there's clearly 2 tiers. Mania, Montas. Then after that, you're getting into the plus 4 ERAs with Irvin and Jeffries. So, it's not stellar. Let's just say that. Then, as their 5th guy, it would be James Kaprielian. He's battling a shoulder injury. He's 27 years old. When he gets better, a 4.07 ERA, 1.223 WHIP. Overall, not too shabby. It could definitely be worse. I think this is probably actually one of their strongest aspects to their roster. So let's just hope they go deep every time, right? So, yep. Let's go to the relievers. Is that going to look any better? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Lou Trevino. He's going to be their closer. And, for good reasons. This guy had a 3.18 ERA and a 1.249 WHIP. 7 and 8 wins last year. Of course, it doesn't necessarily matter for a closer. 8.2 strikeouts per 9, 4.2 walks per 9, which is a little concerning. You don't want a guy averaging 4 batters per game, which, yeah, that's not too good. But I mean, the ERA is still rock solid. It's stellar. Auto relievers to mention, we've got De Los Guerra, who's battling a forearm injury. He's got an ERA upwards of 4. You got Domingo Acevedo. He's got a 4.06 ERA. AJ Puck, 4.01 ERA. I mean, Samuel, 4.22 ERA. I mean, no matter which way you slice it, they're just not stellar per se. It's not getting too out of hand, but it's not, sub 4 ERAs across the board. So, yeah, a lot of revolving doors for the A's, but I mean, I can say they're if anything, they was revolving doors and position players. Some of their pitchers actually stuck around, which is good. It just depends on their contract year, right? So
Yeah, I I don't know if I just haven't noticed this before, but like a few of these guys here in the relief have negative ERAs. Like that's like they're not even like averaging out. They're just like flat zero or like even a little bit up, like 0.1 or 0.2. They're like negative 0.1. like
yeah,
they're like it's like it's like Fangraphs is saying these guys are a liability to them being in the bullpen than actually an asset for them.
yep. I mean that's how it
Which
is.
which tells me that this is not a one time. Yeah, the tanking has just begun here for for the Athletics here. Sorry, East Bay folks. Yeah, y'all's team is not looking to win games this year. Not
I mean,
not
yeah,
based on what we're seeing here.
they play in a monstrosity of an arena or a stadium, which let's just
Stadium that
say
was ruined all those years ago when the Raiders moved to town, they closed it in. And yeah, I mean that stadium used to be beautiful, just the looks of the mountains down in the background and everything. But now
you know.
it's just a giant concrete, aging, unkept monstrosity out there in Oakland, which is an absolute shame.
Yeah, when longtime patriot of the podcast, Tad Bostic, my dad, when he was going to college in the area, Palo Alto at Stanford, he would go to games at the Coliseum for cheap. This was back in the 70s. And if it was crappy back then, it's crappy now. And let's just say I want to go to all 30 stadiums, but I'm just going to wait until their lease ends on this one. I'm not dying to go to the Coliseum because of, let's just face it, sometime in the next 5 years, the A's are going to move out of that stadium. Finally, they might move to Las Vegas. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna wait until they do that. No offense to anybody
Yeah.
there.
I think I'm gonna have to get out there sooner than later.
Oh, you actually want to see a game there?
I do. I feel like it is one of those relics of a stadium. Just the concrete monstrosity. And yeah, I might have the misfortune of having to use an overflowing toilet or something while I'm there, because that tends to happen with apparently at the
Oh,
Coliseum.
man.
But it'll be endearing. It'll be worth it.
Oh man, that's funny. Too funny. Well, you do you, Trav. You do too. You do you. Tell me how that goes. Send me pictures, right? All right. Now we move on to the Oakland A's position players. And this is where the fire selling really took a turn because this is what people mostly pay attention to. And man, did they just let themselves go, which is very unexciting. But we still got to go and give them some love, right? The position players for the Oakland A's for 2022 season, starting at the catching position, Sean Murphy. So you going to read them to the promised land? Well, he's got a 216 batting average, 306 on base percentage, and a 405 slugging. He had 17 bombs last year, which for a catcher is not too shabby. But I mean, he had a 98 OPS plus, so just a little below average. So it's not too good so far. You want some above average players. You got an average catcher, which offensively, I mean, he's in his mid 20s. He's got some room to improve. Moving into first base, this is where the first hole begins because you know that the Atlanta Braves picked up Matt Olson, right? They got Matt Olson and they paid him. They paid that guy out with Freeman, in with Olson. But wait, who's going to be the new guy for this team? The A's. Well, I'll tell you who he is. You probably haven't heard of him. His name is Eric Thames. You're like, Eric, what? Eric Thames, baby. He's going to lead you to the promised land. Oh, Eric Thames. What can we say about Eric Thames? Well, Eric Thames repping a 241 batting average, 325 on base percentage, and a 467 slugging. 108 OPS plus. Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it. So, a huge roll, a huge drop off there. Slightly above average though, but not too great. And if he's not going to be playing, you could probably put in Seth Brown, and Seth Brown is not that better either. So already huge hole. You just had to trade him away. You had to. I don't know why. The tanking begins. Over at second base, a man who is near and dear to my heart and the heart of every Astros fan everywhere, Tony Kemp. Travis, do you know Tony Kemp?
That name does sound very familiar, and
Oh.
he looks like a pretty pretty good guy for them to have at second base, all things considered.
All things considered, how does a 126 OPS sound? Which, I mean, that's decently above average. Tony Kemp is a stud. He frequently does backflips on the baseball diamond. No big deal. Doesn't count for anything, but the guy's athletic. Tony Kemp. He puts the fun in baseball. He's slashing 279, 382, 418. I mean, the guy hit 8 bombs last year, but he's going to do a lot of contact. He's going to get hits, and he's got a superb glove. So, I'm happy for them. He fits in well with the Oakland culture. Tony Kemp for the win. So, pretty solid, right? Well, let's keep on going and let's see what happens. Third base for the Oakland A's, Kevin Smith. Man. Matt Chapman. That guy is going to be missed. Matt Chapman is stupid good, and they got rid of him. So, first hole, first base. Second hole, third base. You're just gonna have to just call up your farm system at this point. It's gonna be better than anything that this has to offer. So, but let's take a look at Kevin Smith, the most generic name in the world. You might as well be called, I don't know, Adam Smith or something like that. Yikes. I don't have any faith in this guy.
I have to look up where Kevin Smith is even from. I'm the name like that. Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Well, guys, let's just all laugh together. This guy in 2021, although he had only 32 at bats, so small sample size, 0.94 batting average, 194 OBP, 188 slugging.
He's from East Greenbush, New York. So that's right around, I believe that's around the New York City area.
Yeah.
I just imagine he sounds like he should be from like some small town in Iowa or like Indiana. So where he just sounds like
with a name
yeah,
like that.
Like a generic Midwestern guy.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he needs to be non-generic in this season because the guy's still young. The guy's 25 years old, and he's got potential. But let's just hope that he starts entering his prime sooner rather than later, because first and third, it's so bad. But you know what? No need to fear, because the Oakland A's have a rock star shortstop that is near and dear to Travis's heart. So we had a guy near and dear to my heart, and now we have a guy near and dear to Travis's heart. I'm of course talking about the king of rock and roll, maybe Elvis Andrus. Yes, the guy won't go away. He's Elvis Andrus. Man, he was in his prime in 2011, and he's still rocking it for some reason at age 32.
Well, in 2011, he was a young man at that point. He's still, he's still, like 11 years later. Still a young guy. But now it's, no, Elvis just continues to play at a very high level, even to this point in his career. But I think, it was, I think, it was time for a change with the Rangers. There, he did a lot of great stuff for us, but, obviously, the Rangers really a year or two ago began committing to moving in a complete rebuild direction, and Elvis and letting Elvis go was ultimately a major part of that.
Yes, but let's face it. Elvis's stats were dropping off. Last year, he had a 73 OPS, which means that is well below average. He was slashing 243, 294. 320. Yikes. I know 32 is not young. Heck, I'm 30, and I can say, if I'm 30 and I don't feel young, he's 32. a whole lot more athletic than I am. The guy's not young, right? But
Fair.
he's on the downhill trend, but he's still got the glove. So
Yeah.
that's about all he's going to offer. So infield, 2 huge holes, a former Astro, a former Rangers, nothing promising. Let's just continue this laugh of a, joke of a, of a franchise and go to the outfield, shall we? Seth Brown, probably going to play in left field, slashing 229, 286, 443. Yikes, yikes, yikes. That's ugly to look at. I can't bear to look at it. So you got right field. Who the heck's gonna be there? Ramon Laureano, who is suspended for using PEDs. The good times just they don't keep coming for them. It's just like, come on, guys. Is that really necessary? Man.
Yeah, you're using PEDs to improve a team like this. I
mean. So in his stead, you're probably going to put in Stephen Piscotty, who had a 78 OPS plus, well below average. That's all you need to know about him. And then finally, in center field, Christian Pache. I'm butchering his pronunciation, most likely, but I don't care. So Christian Pache slashing 225, 280, 385. Yikes, yikes, and double yikes for that. So, and their DH, Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry, ladies and gentlemen, that guy. I mean, everyone thought he was going to do well, and he really didn't pan out too much. Jed Lowry, slashing 245, 318, 398, hitting 14 bombs last year with a 101 OPS plus. So just average. So you got average, below average. Your strongest aspect is your pitching. And I mean, overall, it's just yikes, yikes, yikes. It wouldn't surprise me if this team finished last in the division. So I don't know about you, Trav. But
I'm getting very I'm kind of a little triggered here because I'm seeing this just looks like kind of what the Rangers were trying to do in recent years of like giving guys shots that's like either coming back from injury or trying to like reboost guys' careers, rehab them. Just a very kind of pitcher by committee mentality. And this is not the formula for winning. This is not the formula for even developing any sort of like real excitement beyond the super hardcore Oakland A's fan. Like the Bay Area is not going to be flocking out to the Coliseum to see these guys play. They may be spending a bit more time on the other side of the bay over at AT&T Park to see those guys. But no, the A's, they're not it this year. Sorry.
Oh man, poor Oakland. They've been deprived of anything good. Oakland has a few World Series championships, but let's just say that that's not going to happen anytime soon. So it might never happen again in Oakland because they'll go to Vegas where everything goes to go for the better. Los Angeles Knights, anybody? So, I mean, case in point, all things go well in Sin City, right? Anyway, let's move on to a more exciting team, the LA Angels, everybody. Now we're going to get a little more excitement. Starting at the pitching end, the reigning, unanimous AL MVP, Shohei Ohtani. That's right. Someone to get excited about. One of basically the only guy who we will mention twice in this lineup. Let's just focus on his pitching. The guy's 26 years old, a 3.18 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 10.8 strikeouts per 9. He pitched 130 innings last year. He had a 1 home run per 9, which is fantastic. 3 walks per 9, which for a starter is pretty rock solid. So everybody knows who he is. He's Shohei Ohtani.
And it was interesting to watch Ohtani last year. It felt like, Ohtani, obviously he was the story all year long based on what he was doing on the out at the plate. But it seemed like just from catching him early on in the year that there was just kind of like he was having to reel back in, kind of like reel in some of the energy, harness it a bit. Like he just kind of was, he was like a bit of a loose cannon out there at times on the mound. But now I feel like obviously as the season progressed, that tightened up a lot more and it matched what he brought at the plate too. So he just only got better as time went on last year.
Exactly. So I mean the guy's gonna be a beast this year. So he is your ace. He is your opening day starter for the win. As far as more pitching at prospects, they picked up the man, the myth, the legend, Thor, Noah Syndergaard, coming fresh off of Tommy John. That's gonna go well, right? It's a gamble, but we will see. Oh, Noah, I believe in you, man. I'm a fellow Scandinavian-ish blood myself, so I mean, we know how to roll right there. Last year, I mean, granted, he only pitched a few innings because he was coming fresh off Tommy John, but you can't even look at last year's stats because he just was in it for like 2 games. But look, career-wise, 3.32 ERA, 1.162 WHIP. So if he sticks to what his career says, that's going to be an excellent 1-2 punch for the Angels. So, already looking good. Moving into number 3, it's not Pablo Sandoval. It's Patrick Sandoval, a brother from another mother from the LA Angels. This guy, a 3.62 ERA, 1.207 WHIP, 9.7 strikeouts per 9. Man, the A's actually have some halfway decent pitchers. I mean, in terms of ERA plus, Ohtani is 141, well above average, stupid above average. You look at Noah, also above average. Patrick Sandoval, 124, above average. So far, so good. I mean, we'll see if it amounts to anything, but I don't know. Jose Suarez, this guy, 3.75 ERA, 1.19 ERA plus, 7.9 strikeouts per 9, 1.231 WHIP, all above average so far, which the pitching has always been a problem for the Angels, Trav. I mean, when you have Mike Trout, you got to make everybody fit around him, right? Which is hard to do. So, and then their 5th guy is probably going to be Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen, I mean, he's going to be their 5th guy for a reason. Fangraph says he has a 4.45 ERA. So, a little bit of a drop off after that point. Let's just hope it's a good 1-2-3 punch with Ohtani, Syndergaard, and Sandoval. And this is actually one of the best rotations they've had for a while. I think picking up Syndergaard was a good move, especially if he pans out well. So, and they need all the help they can get because when we go to their position players, they're going to be pretty stellar. So, a quick run through of their relievers. Raziel Iglesias, 3.007 ERA. My goodness gracious. If you look at Baseball Reference, it's a 2.57 ERA, 1.74 ERA plus, which is stupid above average, 0.923 WHIP. So already
79.3% left on base percentage. Man, that it's the
stupid
that's
good.
Mr. No runs allowed there.
Exactly. So stupid good for the win. You then go to a guy who is going to be confused with a famous actor. He's not Mike Myers. He's Mike Mayers. Get it?
And also not Mike Minor. He is Mike Mayers.
Mayers.
one of many Mikes in baseball, but he is Mike Mayers.
One of many mayors. So 3.8.
Boo.
Boo. Oh man, the puns just keep on coming. Mike Mayers 3.84 ERA, 117 ERA plus. So again, unlike the A's, the Angels have above average pitchers, for crying out loud. So, check. You got Ryan Tepera, who they picked up recently. The guy's got a 4.24 ERA, 72.6 left on base percentage. Man, they have pitching, actually. I mean, and they went all in on pitching. They went all in on pitching over the offseason. They literally didn't get any batters draft. So they heard the people. They said, you need pitching. And they're like, fine, okay. So that's all they got. So it's actually starting to amount to something because we've covered a lot of teams and you have guys that are well above average here. So I don't know. This their year squeaking to a wild card?
Yeah, we got more to look at here with this team, obviously. But yeah, I do want to kind of talk more about these guys once we get through looking at the rest of what they got here in the lineup.
Exactly. Aaron Loup, 3.68 ERA, fantastic. Archie Bradley battling an oblique injury, but when he comes back, he's got a 4.44 ERA. Austin Warren, 4.45 ERA. But really, across the board, it's not too shabby. One of the better ones we've seen. It's not stellar. It's not lights out, but it's pretty darn good. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm encouraged by even like looking at the higher kind of ERAs as we get further here into the relief depth. Is just the really strong left on base percentages here for these guys, and the strikeouts per 9 innings. Like these are guys, they can work jams. They're very situationally aware. This is just really good arm depth here. That this can definitely, I think, help in terms of shutting down some offenses for sure.
For sure, that is right. Now we move on to the moment everybody waits for, and that is the position players for the Angels. So they went all in on pitching. They didn't get a single position player over the offseason. And is that worth it? Why? Well, let's just take a look at their starting 9 and see if they're worth a darn. Starting at the catcher, former Astro, Max Stassi. I'm glad he's a starter. I really am. I have a soft spot for Max Stassi. I mean, the guy, he's a good man. I'm glad he gets to start every day because when he was with the Astros, he was just well down the totem pole. But now he's an everyday guy. He is their ace behind the plate. Max Stassi, slashing a 241, 326, 426, 104 OPS plus, just a smidge above average. I mean, the guy hit 13 bombs last year. I mean, catchers are catchers. For that, I would say that's pretty average. And if you can be average as a catcher, it's actually pretty darn good. So far, off to a good start. Moving on over to the first base position, Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh, someone who recently beat Shohei Ohtani in a batting practice home run derby. That literally happened earlier this year in spring training. They had a batting practice home run derby, and Walsh beat Ohtani, which it doesn't mean anything. But Walsh is going to take that to the grave. He's like, yeah, I beat Shohei. So let's look at Jared Walsh. Slashing 277, 340, 509. Now we're starting to look pretty good. The guy hit 29 bombs last year. Dang. That was second behind Shohei Ohtani on the team. So just mashing it. 128 OPS plus. So, I mean, yeah, you got to love Walsh for the win. So looking good so far. And the good times just keep on coming over at second base. Matt Duffy. He's going to be their new second baseman. Recently acquired Matt Duffy. Let's just see what this guy has to offer, shall we? Recently acquired him for the Cubs. This guy is an average, which it could be better. Slashing 287, 357, 381. Hit 5 bombs last year. He is a 100 OPS plus, so he's exactly average. So, looking okay. Looking okay so far. Moving on over to the shortstop, the flashiest position, we got David Fletcher. David Fletcher. This guy's slashing 262, 297, 324, 71 OPS plus. Well below average. First red flag so far. So can't all be good times for the Los Angeles Angels. So strike one for them. But then you have a man who is almost getting paid as much as Carlos Correa, just 100 grand shy of Carlos Correa, a guy who they absolutely paid, I believe, back in 2020. Anthony Rendon, third baseman for the Los Angeles Angels. Oh, Anthony Rendon. People forget about Anthony Rendon. Why? Well, he didn't play a lot. He was plagued with injuries. Last year, he had a 94 OPS plus, slash 240, 329, 382. Trav, they're paying this guy $35 billion a year. For what? Man, I think this guy's going to sneak up on people. He was plagued with injuries last year, but now he's hungry. He wants revenge. He's 31 years old. He's in his prime. He wants to be worth something. So sneaky Anthony Rendon. Be on the lookout for him. Remember that name, Trav. We will bring him up again.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be remembering him because I'm going to see him a lot with my Rangers facing him. So.
Oh yes, there you go. You'll see Anthony Rendon, and just the best player in baseball history. Well, currently in baseball, so he might be overshadowed a little bit, but we'll see. Moving on into the outfield, left fielder Justin Upton. Justin Upton slashing 211, 296, 409, 90 OPS plus. Below average. He had 17 bombs last year. Not too shabby, but still below average, which is yikes, Rooney Dooney. Don't really want that. So, and then we have a guy who is rising from the ashes. This guy was going off on an absolute tear last year. Last year, at the beginning of the year, he said he finally figured out how to hit, which the guy's got 3 MVPs. And if you just now figured out how to hit, what the heck have you been doing this whole time?
That's like that was like Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago saying that he had just learned how to read defenses. Like in football, yeah. It's like, wait, you're this good of a quarterback and you're just now learning how to read defenses. It's like Mike Trout saying, "Hey, I'm just now learning how to hit." It's like, I'm sorry, what?
I know.
Yes, this is the best player in all of baseball. And he's got help around him too. He is not carrying the weight of Orange County on his back anymore. The Angels actually have a legit team now. Like there's people, there guys other than Mike Trout to be excited about here. Angels fans, please show up out there this year. I forget what y'all stadium is called. I was trying to go for that. Blanked on it. But
whatever it is.
Yeah. Show up, watch him, cheer him on what's going to be a great AL West this year. And welcome your boy Mike Trout back.
Mike Trout, in the 36 games he played last year, he hit 8 bombs and slashed 333 batting average, 466 on base percentage, a stupid 624 slugging, 195 OPS plus. What does that mean? He was twice as good as the average baseball player. I mean, that's all you got to say. I mean, when this guy's on, he's on. And so far in spring training, he looks pretty solid. So Mike Trout's back, baby. He knows how to hit for the first time in his, 29 years of living. And he's there, and he's here to stay. So Mike Trout, baby, keep him in the game. Nobody knows who he is. You go to a random person on the streets, it's like, who's a famous baseball player? They're like, Derek Jeter. Baseball. They need help.
He can just slip away into the one of the many monotonous suburbs out there in Southern California, and go to the mall, go to the movies, do normal life things, and the vast majority of people are never going to know who this mysterious man is, who just happens to be dominating the baseball world.
He just happens to be the best player in the world. So, I mean, hey, you get to keep your anonymity and you're the best. Maybe that's the best way to live, right? Maybe we need to learn something from him. So, moving on into who's probably going to be their right fielder, Joe Adell. Oh, Joe. Slashing 246, 295, 403, 90 OPS plus. Below average. So, it's wishy-washy with this team. You got some guys who are above average. Got some guys who are average. There's Mike Trout, who is leaps and bounds above everybody. And then you have some guys who are below average. David Fletcher being the worst of them. But then you have at the DH, the reigning, unanimous AL MVP, Shohei Ohtani, which we went over his pitching stats. Now let's go over his batting stats from last year. He slashed 257, 372, 592, 158 OPS plus, 58% better than the average pitcher, or average batter, shall I say. 46 bomb buzz. Wow. So we're getting better. We're getting better, Trav. The A's, they were laughing the whole time, but the Angels, the AL West is a tough division. It really is. I mean, because I don't know if this team was in like one of the central divisions, they might actually have a go at it. But they got to play with the Texas
it's gonna
teams.
it's gonna be brutal. I think it's like there's gonna be a lot of beating up, of teams on each other this year. It's gonna be it's gonna be competitive, and it's gonna be deep. But there's gonna, if you're not well versed with the AL West, you might just kind of casually watch them and think, man, is anybody here really that that good? But I think they're just beating up on each other. So
Yeah, exactly. So, but nah, I mean, they're still an exciting team to watch simply because of Ohtani and Mike Trout. If you just go for those two people, do it. I mean, you don't know how much longer they're going to be around. So let's move on to our third team, the Seattle Mariners. So we're going to do Mariners, Rangers, Astros. So for our Astros and Rangers fans listening, stick around. We'll get to the teams that are near and dear to all of our hearts at the end. But before we do that, we have to go to arguably one of the coolest cities in America, Seattle, baby, with the Needle building or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Fraser.
the Needle.
Yeah. So it's called the Seattle Mariners, and their new ace on the mound, the reigning AL Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray. Ah, yes, Robbie Ray. That was an excellent pickup by the Mariners, and they're starting to look scary. Robbie Ray last year, 2.84 ERA, 1.045 WHIP, 6.7 wins above replacement, 248 strikeouts. Yikes. This guy is going to be nasty. He's finally hit it. He's in his prime, and he is just a beast on the mound. So, starting off on a really good note so far. Moving on down to who's going to be their second guy. It's going to be Marco Gonzalez. Marco Gonzalez had a 3.96 ERA, 1.165 WHIP, 105 ERA. So you got a guy who's well above average. And then you have a guy who is about average. So,
but he has a great name. This guy that's coming up here, Chris Flexen. Like that is I don't know. Like that's either a cool name, or this guy just exudes the most Chad energy possible in real life, and you can't stay being around him. It's only one of those two things. He's either a like a great clubhouse, like no like just like apple pie middle America kind of guy, or Chris is really Chad Flexen. Because like with a name like that, you don't know. But it's a great baseball name regardless.
I know. I gotta watch an interview of this guy. I want to see if he's a frat daddy or if he's just, if he doesn't live up to the name or the bad connotation of the name. But Chris Flexen, he is flexing a 3.61 ERA, 1.252 WHIP, 1.15 ERA plus, above average. So You know, you got a 1-2-3 punch, all above average. Robbie Ray, well above average. And then you have these guys who are actually pretty rock solid in terms of their numbers. There is a little bit of a drop off after that. Logan Gilbert. Oh, Logan. 4.68 ERA, 89 ERA plus. Nah, that's below average. So he's 24 years old. Let's hope he starts entering his prime sooner rather than later. And then number 5, Matthew Brash. Oh, Matthew Brash. 4.33 ERA according to Fangraphs. 72.5 left on base percentage. 9 Ks per 9. Not too shabby. But really, it's all about Robbie Ray. I love that pickup. Mariners. Let's just hope that guy, he's going to take it to the promised land. They were so close on making the playoffs last year. And maybe this will be the year that they get in with the expanded playoffs. But we'll see. You got to have a relief. You got to have relievers, right? So you got Paul Sewald. This guy's got a 1.36 ERA plus, which is well above average. You got Drew Steckenrider. 2.09 ERA plus. This guy rocked a 2.00 ERA, 1.020 WHIP. He's 30 years old. Man, these guys are like your 8th and 9th inning guys, and they're just so rock solid. For sure. You got Diego Castillo. The guy's got a 4.00 ERA. Anthony Mezhowicz, 4.22 ERA. Sergio Romo, 4.49 ERA. And then of course you got Ken Giles, former Astro, battling an elbow injury, which the guy last year had a 3.69 ERA, which is actually pretty rock solid. So overall pitching, I don't know, it was kind of the bane of them because remember last year, it was the fun differential for the Mariners. Trav,
yeah,
don't let the numbers fool you. They actually won. They won games.
Yeah,
they gave up a lot of runs.
They they had a very rare kind of situation where you had those sort of struggles in terms of putting it all together, but still won quite a few games from it. But we'll keep. Is the fun differential back again this year? Let's take a look at everything else that these guys have to offer because it might not.
Yeah. They did pick up some people when it comes to their starting lineup, and let's just say, I think overall they might have slightly gotten better, which for them they needed to get a lot better. But I don't know. I might be being too harsh on them. Starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners, starting off at the catching position, Tom Murphy. Tom Murphy slashing 202, 304, 350, 84 OPS plus. Below average, but hey, it's the catching position. The guy hit 11 bombs last year, so not too shabby, right? Moving over the first base, Ty France. What a name, Ty France. Ty France slashing a 291 batting average, 368 on base percentage, 445 slugging, 128 OPS plus. Well above average. I mean, the guy hit 18 bombs last year. That's pretty rock solid for a first baseman. A lot of people would be lucky to have Ty France on their team. He's 26 years old, a stud muffin, if I do say so myself. Second baseman, the guy who hopped around last year, one of the best hitters in baseball, Adam Frazier. Love this pickup for the guys because in baseball today, it's all about getting on base, right? Some people, they love the walk. And I get it. Walking is important. But you have guys like this guy, he's an old school player. He doesn't walk. Well, he walks. But you know how he gets on base, Trav? He gets hits. And hits are more exciting. They're more exciting than walks. And this guy's one of the best out there. He's a power lefty with a 305 batting average, 365 on base percentage, 411 slugging, 114 OPS plus, above average. You gotta have a rock solid hitter on your team, and it is so good. So far so good for this team. Going on over to third base, recently acquired Eugenio Suarez. This was a recent pickup over the offseason, and boy, was it good. Or maybe. Eugenio Suarez, let's just say he's got a lot of room for improvement, slashing 198, 286, 428, 80 OPS plus, below average. Yikes. I don't know. We'll see. As over at shortstop, a guy who is currently battling a mouth injury, J.P. Crawford. Don't know what the heck that mouth injury is. Let's just, I don't know. I don't even want to try to guess.
It's like, did he get hit by a pitch or something? Like,
I don't know. Does he have mono? What?
Yeah, I like, did he trip while he was gardening or something and like hit his face on the concrete? I'm trying to there's any I mean, that's such a not standard injury. It seems like that. Yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities as to what could possibly happen there.
I don't know there. But anyway, JP Crawford slashing 273, 338, 376, 102 OPS plus, pretty average shortstop. Man, oh man. They need a rock solid shortstop. It would just be so nice for the Seattle Mariners to have a rock solid shortstop. Someone who's got the flair, the pizzazz. But they'll just have to wait for another day. Maybe the trade deadline. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on into the outfield. Starting at the left field position. A man who not won, but was an all-star last year. Picked up by the Reds. Of course, talking about a man who looks so good in a Mariners uniform. Jesse Winker. 305 batting average, 394 on base percentage, 556 slugging, 24 bombs, 140 OPS plus. Mind explosion, guys. This guy's good. Man, oh man. Was that a fantastic pickup? Rock solid. So get a good boost out of that guy. Center fielder, Jarred Kelenic. Oh, Jarred. This guy massively underperformed last year with a 72 OPS plus. He slashed 181, 265, 350, 14 bombs last year, but the guy's 21, guys. Give this guy a break. All right. He's 21. He's got potential. So if this guy actually starts coming into his own, this lineup's going to be scary good. I saw this team last year in person, and they got firepower. So last but not least, right fielder, Mitch Haniger. Oh, Mitch Haniger. Slashing 253, 318, 485, hitting 39 bombs last year. What? That's insane. 122 OPS plus, well above average. It's nice to look at a roster that's above average. You know, it's got potential on paper. DH is probably gonna, be Kyle Lewis maybe. And they're kind of like, you really don't know how it's gonna go. It could be Abraham Toro, a recently acquired person from the guy from the Astros last year. Last year when they were playing, the Astros were playing the Mariners, and one day Toro was on the Astros, and then the very next day when he went to the clubhouse, he's like, "Yeah, you've been traded to the Mariners.
So just go down the hall and your new team is right over there."
Oh man, it was so funny. And what does he do in his first game in a Mariners uniform? He sticks it to his old team and he hits a bomb right in their face. Oh man, I can't even imagine that. That's just so awkward. But Abraham Toro slashing 252, 328, 367, 96 OPS plus. A little below average, but don't let that fool you. This guy's good. He's a switch hitter. He's got potential. And I'm going to keep harping on that. Or the F is Toro. That is what they say. So that's what, at least what Justin Verlander said. And where is he? There he is. He's with the Seattle Mariners, who is not too shabby. This team's got potential. But now, the moment we've all been waiting for all you viewers, you've been tuning in, you've held with us for almost an hour, and now we get to the good stuff. We're going to start off with Travis's team, a team that is near and dear to his heart, the Texas Rangers.
It's
Yes.
baseball time in Texas.
Yes. Texas Rangers. They're going to go to the promised land. This is their year.
Well, let's pump the brakes there. But they did spend quite a bit of money. They have gotten off of this whole, hey, we're gonna just try and like rehab guys, and piece together like things like basically having a like champagne aspirations on the beer budget, and they actually opened up the wallets and did some things. So yeah, we'll talk about that more. But
yeah, to the tune of $500 million.
yes,
yes, on 3 people. 3 people, $500 million. And one of those 3 people, his name is John Gray. He's going to be your ace on the mound. And oh man, the guy last year, 4.59 ERA, 1.329 WHIP. Yeah, ERA plus of 104, so around average. You're gonna blow it on this guy from the Colorado land. I mean, I don't know, but hey, he didn't get the lion's share of the $500 million, but he did get a little bit from it. So, but he's your ace, John Gray, an average pitcher. We'll see. But hey, average is better than below average, right? So
that is correct.
Yes, technically. Moving on into some of the other starters, Martin Perez.
Perez.
Oh, my apology. Recently acquired Martin Perez. What can we say about Martin Perez? Well, how about a 4.74 ERA with a 1.509 WHIP? This guy last year, ERA plus of 100. Average. Doesn't scream excellence, but pitching has been the bane of the Rangers for a long time. If they're willing to drop all this money, man, they just want to hit bombs. I guess I don't know. We'll get to the bomb hitting in just
we're relying on the likes of guys like Jack Leiter that are in the farm system to come in and be the future for this organization.
I wouldn't be surprised if they called him up this year, but only after they wait until they can do service time manipulation. So they have him for 7 years of control because, that service time manipulation. It's just the gift that keeps on coming. Other starters, Dane Dunning, 4.51 ERA plus, 1.436 WHIP, 97 ERA, barely below average. Taylor Hearn, 4.66 ERA, 1.323 WHIP, 94. Average, slightly below average, Doesn't scream, just awesome there. And then their number 5 guy, probably AJ Alexy. The guy has got, according to Fangraphs, a 5.13 ERA, 69.8% left on base percentage. Yikes. I'm telling you, Trav, the Rangers got to get a starting pitcher at the trade deadline. I want them to, because it's just average across the board. And you need to have one ace. You need to have one good guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say, man, this is a big possibility here, like with the Rangers, of just being explosive at the plate, but at the same time giving up a ton of runs. I can't do, man. I cannot do that as a fan with any sport. I cannot be a like dry. I cannot be in situations where I'm seeing teams just like kill it on offense first and foremost, and not being able to provide really anything defensively. And I would seriously rather see like something elite defensively and then have just like average to below average offensively to come in behind it and win a lot of games that way, as opposed to this, hey, we're just going to hit bombs left and right and get on base a ton and push across runs. but like we're going to give up a whole bunch of runs too because we've got we got guys that like barely qualify for like being out there at your local your local minor league park. So it's I'm excited to see the Rangers this year, but we was certainly I would agree with your sentiments of looking to pick up a another starting pitcher at the trade deadline, and just hoping that these guys develop and show more than what we're seeing here on paper, because just this alone will not cut it.
It won't cut it at all. Moving on into the relievers, we're just gonna rapid fire these guys because it's yikes, yikes, yikes across the board. All ERAs above 4, according to Fangraphs. Joe Barlow, 467. Spencer Patton, 447. Brett Martin, 402. Garrett Richards, 457. Josh Spores, 423. Dennis Santana, 481. What are we doing here? Man. Let's just hope that the Rangers have some good farm system going on. I mean, what is it with them? They had to spend the money on the bombshells. I mean, you need pitching. You need pitching. Pitching. But hey, step 1, Trav. Build a stadium with 71-degree ambient temperature. Check. Step 2. Hope it draws in the best pitchers in the world. Maybe. Check. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that pitching is yikes. But hey, let's see where that money went to. Let's see, Travis Offley, where that money is going to make itself worthwhile. And that is in the lineup. It's going to be exciting. It's just like that second game I saw last year where they hit bomb after bomb after bomb. They hit 3 bombs, in fact, and yet still lost the game that I saw. But hey, it was still fun. We got to stand up and cheer for the Rangers when they hit those bombs. And it all starts with their position players, starting with the catcher, newly acquired, Mitch Garver. Oh, Mitch Garver. And behind the plate, shall we? 256, 358, 517, 139 OPS plus. What? Oh my gosh, you guys actually got a pretty dang good catcher. Silver Slugger, 13 bombs last year. Man, oh man. Excellent pickup. The guy's 30 years old. He's in his prime. He had a breakout year last year. So, bravo. The lineup's looking good so far. Moving to first base, Nathaniel Lau. That's right. Slashing 264, 357, 415, 113 OPS plus. The guy hit 18 bombs last year. So this side Trav's looking a lot better. Let's just say.
And here is where it really starts to get good.
Oh, yeah. It really does.
Flagship pickups here.
Yes.
By the Rangers this offseason.
Second baseman, third in AL MVP voting, Marcus Semien. Oh my gosh. This guy is good. He's so good. How good is he? The stats don't lie. 265 batting average, 334 on base percentage, 538 slugging, 133 OPS plus, 45 bombas. That's right. That's exciting, man. This guy's in his prime. You know, he's 30 years old. He's got a lot left in the tank. He's been on an upward trajectory as of recent. The guy knows how to hit. Last year, he played in all 162 games of the season. So he's a long haul kind of guy. He doesn't take any off days. And he's going to be with you to the end. Unless he gets a career-ending injury. Which...
Why would you put that evil on me, Satan?
Give me. Oh, man. But, oh, man. Over at third base, Andy Ibanez. Yes, because...
Just butchering these names left and right. That is Mr. Ibanez to you, sir.
Oh man, it's a long night. Andy Ibanez slashing 277, 321, 435, 107 OPS plus. So we got decently above average to average. So far, the disparity is pretty good, right? Well, let's say hello to Mr. 10-year, $325 million man, the shortstop for the Texas Rangers for the next 10 years, the next decade, Corey Seager. Ah, yes, Corey Seager. This guy, he's your highest paid guy, Trav. He is your star, and get excited. I mean, the guy, he's a stud. Last year, 306 batting average, 394 on base percentage, 521 slugging, 16 bombs, 145 OPS plus, rookie of the year, 2-time silver slugger. I mean, this guy's got it all, Trav. So he's 27 years old. Get excited. So I don't know. He got the lion's share of the $500 million. So he better be worth it, right?
I'm getting shades of. I feel like I'm just getting. Have we? Have the Rangers? Have the Rangers in their attempt to rebuild this program become more Angels-esque in the process here? Because I get shades of that from looking at this here, albeit more evenly distributed. It's not like, hey, Mike Trout is just leading the way like it was for them for so long. I'm thinking more of the Rangers are at more of a risk of them becoming the fun differential team this year.
Yeah, give up a lot of bombs, but also hit a lot of bombs as well. So, yep, that's how the season's going to play out. We'll see. Moving on into the outfielder, Nick Solak in left field. Probably going to shift him over there. He played a little bit of second base, but he can play a good left field as well. Slashing 242, 314, 362, 87 OPS plus. Below average. So, I mean, the guy's got potential. He's 26 years old. I mean, he did show signs of life. So I'm not too worried about him. Center fielder, the guy who should have won Rookie of the Year, Adolis Garcia. That's right. He's got a cannon of an arm. This guy slashing at 243, 286, 454, 101 OPS plus. The guy hit 31 bombas last year, 28 years old. He's part of your big three. Trav, big three. Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. So they're going to be hitting bombas left and right. So there you go. And then right fielder Cole Calhoun. Oh, what a name. Mr. Cole Calhoun. According to Fangraphs, slashing 229, 311, 424. You know, it's a 730-ish OPS, so about average. Doesn't need a hitter. Willie Calhoun. Slashing 250, 310, 381, 90 OPS plus. Below average. So what a stark difference between the pitching and the position players, right? I mean, position players, you have plenty of reasons to get excited, but pitching, it's just not, even with John Gray. I mean, just call Jack Leiter up now. Get him up. Anybody. It's worth it. If John Gray can actually be what he's worth, they call up Jack Leiter and have a 1-2 punch. They might barely make the playoffs.
That could be the difference between being in the playoffs or not. Just thinking about that being your depth chart there. But yeah, that the Rangers are definitely banking on the development of some guys in their farm system. Like I heard one of the local stations talking about this in Dallas the other day of like they've made some big time moves, but it feels like this is more of these type of moves with like Seager and Semien are what you normally expect out of a team later on in the development of their young players and kind of grooming the farm system at that point. Like they're really kind of putting these guys at the forefront, and then they're saying, hey, we're going to develop everybody else kind of around you, as opposed to like really focusing on developing like your future right now, and then bringing in the big names to like kind of complement with it. They're kind of doing it a little bit. They're not kind of, they are doing it in reverse here. So yeah, and I would say I don't know exactly kind of what the historical precedent for that is in terms of it working or not, but it is something to observe here.
You know what historical precedent is, Trav? It's called get the big names, get the butts in the seats, and hope it works out.
What? I mean, baseball does have to work with that, like having to put in entertaining, like there's more of like a burden on them putting an entertaining product on the field and then figuring out the performance a little bit later. The sport unfortunately lends itself to it that way.
Maybe, unfortunately. So, man, funny stuff. There you go, your 2022 Texas Rangers. And now, last but not least, a team that is near and dear to my heart, a team who I am repping on my head with my hat, repping from H-Town, the Houston Astros. Some people call us the Houston Asterisks, but those people can eat it for all I care.
Wasn't too long ago that they were the Houston Lastros, because they were always dead last in
Houston,
the division.
Houston Lastros, Astros. Lastros is Astros, half Astros. Yes, the nicknames are aplenty. Hey, I remember them because they described us. So, but
hey, I mean, they just kind of backed right into it, like some people accidentally back into trash cans. So yeah.
Wow. We're gonna go there, right? So, oh man. So getting to it, starting with the starting rotation, I'm gonna go in order by which our manager Dusty Baker said. And in our order of starters, our opening day starter is going to be Framber Valdez. Oh, Framber. He is a stud muffin. He had a 4.14 ERA, 1.248 whip, 137 ERA plus, 8.4 strikeouts per 9. Well above average. Bingo, bango. Your day two starter, Luis Garcia, someone who almost won Rookie of the Year. Luis Garcia had a 123 ERA plus, 348 ERA to be exact, 1.178 whip, well above average. Boom. So you got 1-2 punch, well above average. And then your day three starter for the Houston Astros, a man who ages like fine wine. I'm, of course, talking about the one and only Justin Verlander. Yes, coming straight off of Tommy John and looking like he never left. Oh, JV. Career stats, 3.33 ERA, 1.134 whip. For a starter, those are elite. 2-time Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Triple Crown, MVP. I mean, Justin Verlander's Justin Verlander at this point. I mean, the guy is, he's getting to his 40s. Let's hope he's like Tom Brady and continues the magic there, right? We need more Tom Brady's of the world to make the 40-year-olds of the world feel better about themselves.
Before I go, Nelson Cruz, that's also killing it at over 40 years old as well.
Yes, he is. Nelson Cruz, the 40-year-old
wonder. Out in the outfield.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's too late. Fourth day starter, Jose Urquidy. Don't knock until you fried it. This guy's a stud as well. This guy had a 3.62 ERA, 0.991 whip, 119 ERA, all above average, all across the board. And then your fifth day starter, Jake Odorizzi. This guy's got a 4.21 ERA, 1.252 whip, 102 ERA plus, just about average. And then, Who's the diamond in the rough? Who am I forgetting about? A guy who will come eventually, but is still battling injuries. Lance McCullers Jr. That's right. Last year, LMJ was oh so hot. He had a 3.16 ERA, 1.220 WHIP, 136 ERA plus, 10.3 strikeouts per nine. My goodness gracious. The guy gave up a lot of walks, 4.2 walks per nine, but he did not give up runs. So he let people get on base, but he got out of plenty of jams. So that's a winning rotation in my book. And it is underrated. It's the high heavens. The bias meter is all the way up for me, but I don't care. Oh man, that's pretty good. I don't know about you, Trav, but I'm gonna say that's good.
So, certainly better than my Rangers. That
yes,
actually looks like a great top to bottom starting pitching rotation.
Oh yeah. Now that we got JV back, we're the envy of the world, right? I don't know. We're not the White Sox. We're not the Mets. We're not the Brewers, but we're pretty close.
Hey, don't count out the Astros when it gets to the month of October. I feel like y'all are a team that people just still don't want to face when it comes around to that.
Exactly. Starting in the relievers, our closer Ryan Presley, 2.25 ERA, 1.91 ERA plus. Holy crap! The guy's got a 0.969 WHIP, 11.4 strikeouts per nine. One of the best closers in baseball, hands down. This guy's an absolute stud. He holds the Major League Baseball record for most scoreless innings pitched. Period. I mean, I don't have to say anything else about this guy. Auto relievers: Christian Javier, 1.21 ERA plus. Ryan Stanek, 1.26 ERA plus. Blake Taylor, 1.36 ERA plus. The good times, they just keep on coming for this pitching staff. It's just, well above average across the board. And then, not to mention, someone who we just got, Hector Neris, a recent acquisition by the Houston Astros. And this guy, not too shabby last year. Last year, he had a 1.15 ERA plus. Hector Neris, 3.63 ERA, 1.170 WHIP. These are just phenomenal numbers. I'm not seeing anything bad. Phil Maton, the guy, the Stone Cold Killer, as I like to call it, the guy who shows so much emotion. And by that, he shows no emotion at all, but he gets the job done. In 2021, when he was in totality, he was a 93 ERA plus. But don't let that fool you. In the postseason, he was lights out. Phil Maton was. He was lights out whole way through. These guys, they're beasts. That's all I can say. So, A's across the board for the Houston Astros. They went to the World Series last year, and they could very well do it again. But let's just go on over to their lineup, because the good times, they just keep on coming for your Houston Astros. And your starting nine, starting at the catching position, the shining star, Martin Maldonado. See, I got it right this time, Travis. I didn't say Martin.
Yes. Yeah, you saw the little accent over the eye there. It's
Martin.
Got it.
Martin Maldonado. Yeah, that's not going to go over well. Martin Maldonado with his superb 58 OPS plus. Let's just let that sink in, guys. Oh man, that's scary. That means he's almost 50% worse than the average baseball player. Yikes. Oh man. But hey, we have this guy for what he does with his glove. Okay. Put him in the 9 hole and everything will be okay, right? If he's not that good, you can put in Jason Castro. Jason Castro has a 118 OPS plus, but we can't do him every time. So I'm just saying. It can't be all aces across the board. Man, let's just put that aside. It's, pay no attention to the man behind the green curtain, so they say. Moving on over to the first base position, Yuli Gurriel, the reigning AL batting champ. Yuli Gurriel. That's right. 37 years old from the great country of Cuba. Slashing 319, 383, 462, 15 bombas, 131 OPS plus. There you go, baby. Yuli Gurriel. This guy, he is good, good, good. And then we move on over to a controversial figure, an MVP winner, batting title winner, World Series champion, Jose Altuve. Oh, Altuve. They booed him. They chanted F Altuve to the high heavens, but he still hit 31 bombs in their face, and I loved it. Slash 278, 350, 489, 127 OPS plus. Altuve still got it in him, Trav. I mean, he's 31 years old. He's entering his. He's got a lot more left in the tank. So that's all I got to say. The good times just keep on coming with the guy who needs a comeback year. Comeback player of the year, Alex Bregman. That's right. You know, he did say on a cameo that he made to me, Trav, that he said maybe he can come on No Doubter later this year.
Yes.
I don't know.
Man,
yes.
that was what a heck of an opportunity that would be for just a little podcast like ours to have Mr. Bregman on. Oh, I would love that. You know, you can talk to him. You can talk to him about his time with the Astros. I want to get his experience of playing for LSU and his college baseball experience that he had there, because he's easily a superstar that came from that program. They're a beloved figure, and did some great things there in the SEC. So yes, would love Mr. Bregman, if you're watching out there somewhere in the world, happen to come across us broadcasting this once it's put up on our podcasting platform. We will definitely take you up on that offer to come on the show. We would love that. How cool would that be for you to be right here
so
live streaming with us?
Exactly. Pouring and scoring. Maybe. Should you want to. But
yes.
Well, I mean, Bregman was played by injuries. He only played in 91 games last season. Despite that, he had a 113 OPS plus last 270, 355, 422, hit 12 bombs last year. This guy says he's feeling good. He's better than ever, and it is time for him to get back to where he was at the beginning, 2019, hitting all those bombas. So let's hope he can get back to that point, because they need him to be there, because otherwise, if he is, our lineup will be scary. And then the first hole presents itself, a hole that is oh so deep. Out goes Carlos Correa, in goes Jeremy Pena, maybe. I don't know. I mean, this guy, let's just see if the Astros engage in some tomfoolery, service time manipulation with him. But let's just say the guy's ready. He is ready. It'll just be a matter of Crane being cheap or not with this guy. But he's fast. He's a 5-tool player. He's a stud muffin. He's got like an 18-pack. And that's all I got to say. So he's going to crush it whenever he does come up. Moving into the outfield for the Houston Astros, left fielder, one of the best hitters in the game, Uncle Mike, Michael Bradley. This guy's slashing 311, 362, 437, 119 OPS plus, 8 bombs last year. But this guy's a professional hitter. That's all I got to say. Professional hitter, Michael Brantley. He's hit 2 bombs in 2 back-to-back games in the spring training so far as of this recording. The guy's a stud. Stud muffin. Center fielder is going to be interesting this year, draft, because Jake Myers is still injured, battling a shoulder injury. We don't know who the opening day starter is going to be. It could be Chas McCormick. It could be Jose Siri. I mean, those guys, they were pretty good last year. Chas McCormick had a 107 OPS plus. Jose Siri had a 155 OPS plus in the 21 games that he played. Siri's got a lot of potential. He's a little, fire breather, 25 years old. Chas McCormick, 26. It's going to be interesting, but a lot of potential at that position. And then finally, at right field, a man who is so underrated, Kyle Tucker, a man with the best OPS plus on the Astros, slashing 294, 359, 557 slugging, 147 OPS plus, 30 bombas. Man. All I'm saying, Travis, is if you do fantasy baseball, get this guy on your team. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if you were planning on it, but
I've yet to attempt fantasy baseball at this point in my life. I feel like it is. I feel like it's a very active endeavor, and I'm already about to retire from fantasy football, just because it's.
Whoa!
It's even that is just becoming more of a chore for me now. But maybe I might give it a shot this year. Who knows?
You gotta. It's almost a week away, opening day. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can make a fan, a no doubter fan league. Last minute, and just laugh at each other.
Yeah, I'm. I think I will. I'll just watch Kyle Tucker's game this year and get a look at him.
There you go.
There. So yeah, since we're doing all these proper previews this year, maybe I'll study the like all these guys really heavily this year, and then give it a shot next year. And maybe it won't happen. I'm just like blowing smoke out my back end, but who knows?
Oh man, we'll see. And then finally, the designated hitter for the Houston Astros, Yordan Alvarez. Oh, this guy's so good. 33 bombs last year, slash 277, 346, 531, 136 OPS plus. The guy's a stud. He's a rookie of the year. He is so good. There you have it, approaching the 90-minute mark. And those are your 5 teams for the AL West. A lot of parity, a lot of teams that are good on one end, not so good on the other. You got teams that are not good across the board. And then you have teams like the Astros who continue to be good on paper. And I'm going to enjoy that for as long as I can because it won't last forever. The good times never last. So.
And then they will become the Lastros once again, and the Rangers will resume their rule.
Man. And, I probably won't be around when that happens. I'm just joking. I probably will. Oh, man. Well, those of y'all watching, thank y'all very much for joining us. If you still want to leave a comment, leave a comment. Just say, hey, hi, leave a question if you want us to answer it at the last minute. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah,
we're closing this out.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you, I'll do this earlier, but as we're doing these live streams now, it's going to be so important to us to really help out the algorithm across all platforms. That when you're watching these live streams, share them, like them, like Boom said, comment on them. Just interaction, that's the name of the game here. Interaction engagement is the name of the game, ultimately to feed the algorithm and help this thing grow. So we'd certainly appreciate that when y'all are watching. So it's not too late. I mean, even as this is ending right now, get this to the forefront of your feed. Show your friends and family what No Doubter is all about. And let's get more people in on this fun now as we're doing this live streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As we wrap things up, Trav, go ahead and just tell everybody where they can find us on, on all our socials.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are, first and foremost, subscribe to us if you haven't already. We're available on Google, Apple, Spotify, really anywhere you can find podcasts. We're there. Leave us a 5-star review if you've enjoyed the show. We're also welcome to feedback as well too. You can get in touch with us and let us know what you would like to see covered here on this show, the areas where we can improve. We're certainly always open to that. Like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those are going to be at the handles No Doubter Pod. Boom and myself are also available on Twitter. Boom is going to be at Boombostic21. I'm going to be at Travis Lawfully. Let's talk about Patreon real quick. We've revamped this recently. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people here. First and foremost, our longest standing patron, Mr. Tad Bostic, and then our newest Patreon producer, who has got this opportunity now from becoming part of our legend level, our very top tier that we have with No Doubter. Being in our Patreon community, this is just one little example of a perk that is united across all levels, which is being mentioned here on our program. So really cool things in terms of like what we do for you in terms of mailbag priority, getting shout outs, merchandise, all sorts of cool perks that you can see across our different levels and what's involved with each of them. Please take a look at our Patreon. We really appreciate it. Helps us be able to continue to keep this program going. We've also got a merch store too through our partner at TeePublic. They've been great for us in terms of putting together great t-shirts, hoodies, baseball shirts, crew neck sweaters, phone cases, mugs, so much more. There's onesies for the little ones. Got family
That's
there.
right.
Everybody can have something with No Doubter on it. It can help spread the word of our programming through that and let people know that No Doubter is a great up-and-coming baseball podcast. You will see the links to all these things in the description below. Boom, what do we like to tell our listeners as we end every show?
Thank y'all so much for sticking around. The few of y'all that did, thank y'all. Hope to see y'all again for next time. We're going to be doing live streams a whole lot more often, so we'd love to see y'all. Love to see some engagement there. So, but as you go into your life, just be like the cocky ones out there. Be like the ones who win the MVPs. What do? They bat 400, and they always swing for the fences. They don't always connect, but when they do, it's out of the park. So do that. It's the No Doubter way. And when you do pour and score, always drink responsibly. Good night, everybody. We'll see y'all.